Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have another GTA lore video for you guys, and on today's video I want to talk about a topic in GTA 3 that some people are still confused on 20 years later, and that is, why does Salvatore betray Claude? Now, as we know in GTA 3, Claude does a lot of good work for the Leone family. It helps them out a lot, but though in Salvatore's final mission, Salvatore betrays him. He sends him over to pick up a car, but in the car there's a car bomb. Maria warns him at the last second and stops him from getting into the car. Now, a lot of people blame Maria for this, and Maria is a lot at fault, I do agree, but Maria is just a spark that ignited Salvatore's betrayal at the end. It's not the main reason on why Salvatore actually betrayed Claude. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining why Salvatore betrayed Claude exactly, because the other GTA games, like San Andreas and Liberty City Stories, actually explain this perfectly well. So let's get started right here. So to understand Salvatore's intentions, we have to go back as far as the introduction to San Andreas. Now, even though San Andreas came out after GTA 3, GTA 3 came out in 2001 and San Andreas in 2004, chronologically San Andreas takes place before GTA 3 and shows a younger Salvatore and how his personality was a little bit different. And in this case, he's actually talking to Johnny Sindaco, who is the leader of the Sindaco family, and Johnny is actually proposing him to invest into his casino. Take a listen to this.
So, Johnny, you want $5 million of my money?
I want to help you make a fortune, Mr. Leone. My father wants to unite our organizations.
Hey, you know me. Business is business. The personal stuff is nonsense. I'd like to see a way past this bullshit. Now, where were we? And you were asking me for $5 million. So let me understand it. I go in your casino, take a third stake along with your organization and the Corellis, then I let you guys manage my investment for me?
Bingo.
Yeah, you must really think my mother, God rest her soul, fucked an idiot instead of my father. Are you calling my mother an idiot who goes with morons? You're a good kid. Me? I'm just an old fool. What do I know? You can have the money.
We can?
If you give me control of the books.
Yeah, you see, we can't do that, Mr. Leone.
I got an idea. What about a third party, an independent guy? He runs the place, and together we run him.
Oh, we can't do that, Mr. Leone. We got our guy in there already.
Get rid of him. Show me exactly how much you want my organization's involvement.
So as you guys heard it right there, Johnny Sindaco wants to build up Caligula's casino. This is a massive casino that is in Las Venturas, which is based on Las Vegas. And the reason that he's coming to Salvatore is because he needs $5 million. Now, the Sindacos are actually the weakest family out of the three families in Liberty City. The strongest are the Leones. The second strongest are the Forellis. Forellis used to be the strongest in the 80s until Sonny Forelli's death in Vice City, but now the Leones are on top. And so the Sindacos want the financial support of the Leones in order to be able to start up this casino, and they offer Salvatore 1/3 share. The Forellis also do invest money into the same casino, and they get 1/3 share. So all three families, the Sindacos, the Forellis, and the Leones, have 1/3 control of Caligula's casino. And Salvatore wanted control of the books. Johnny Sindaco told him that they can't do that. But then Salvatore says, why don't we get a different manager, somebody that we can all push around? And Johnny says, we can't do that, we already have our guys. So Salvatore says, show me how much you want my organization's involvement. Now, later on in the introduction, we actually see two Sindaco soldiers, and they had just murdered Mickey. Mickey was the previous manager of Caligula's casino. So they got rid of Mickey, most likely to not have him talk to anyone after they replaced him with Ken Rosenberg. They dumped his body in the desert, and they got Ken Rosenberg. Now, at this time, Ken Rosenberg has been out of Vice City. He's been sent to rehab by Tommy Vercetti, and Tommy doesn't want anything to do with Ken Rosenberg. So Ken Rosenberg is looking for a job, so naturally, they pick him up to be this neutral third party that runs Caligula's casino.
Are you enjoying yourself, huh?
No, I just getting a feel for the place.
So this is the way it is. You're sitting here already having a good time, me $5 million in the hole to the Sindacos, and you not doing a thing about it? Huh?
No, not at all. I spoke with Johnny. He explained everything.
You spoke with Johnny.
Yeah,
Mike, get the door. I'm the job. Me and my money. And I want it back, and I want it back fast. Johnny fucking Sindaco even so much as blinks at you, I want to hear about it. You find a way to give me my money, and fast. Understood?
Yes, understood. Understood.
Cheer up. Have some fun around here. This is supposed to be a casino, not a monastery.
So as you guys see it right there, Salvatore had no intention to be an equal partner in Caligula's casino with the Forellis and the Sindacos. Even though he acts like it, the reality is the reason that he wanted Ken Rosenberg there was so that he could bully and control Ken Rosenberg. And he tells Ken Rosenberg that, and Johnny Sindaco tells you anything, you tell me about it. You are my man, you are not his, you do not report to him. And this is exactly how Ken Rosenberg got into this situation. Now Salvatore came into this deal thinking that he was going to outsmart everyone. And what ends up happening now in the San Andreas storyline is when CJ actually arrives in Las Venturas and actually Woozy actually invites him over to the Three Dragons casino, he actually finds out that some mobsters are actually smashing up some of their machines. And this turns out to be Johnny Sindaco. Johnny Sindaco gets captured. And the reason that Johnny Sindaco was smashing up machines is because the Triads had just opened up a casino down the block from them. And basically the Sindacos didn't want any kind of competition. So all CJ knows is that Johnny is from some type of mafia family. He doesn't know exactly who he is. So CJ tells the Triads to strap Johnny Sindaco to the hood of the car, and CJ drives into oncoming traffic at high speed, in which Johnny Sindaco finally admits what family he's from.
The family will make you pay for this!
Which fam?
The Sindaco family, you idiot!
That's all I wanted to hear.
So now CJ knows that the Sindacos from the Caligula's casino are actually attacking the Triads casino. And later on in the story, the Truth actually calls CJ and tells him that two of his friends, Kent, Paul, and Macker, have gone missing in the desert. CJ finds them both and retrieves them, and then they tell CJ to drive them back to Caligula's casino, where they're actually friends of Ken Rosenberg. Now CJ sees that there's a connection right here to Caligula's casino. This is a way that he can use to infiltrate Caligula's casino. These are the guys who are screwing over his casino, which he has a share in. So naturally, it works to CJ's benefit to try to infiltrate the casino. So CJ does a bunch of jobs for Ken Rosenberg, and one of those important jobs in the story is after Johnny Sindaco is getting out of the hospital, what happens is the Forellis find out he's being transported to his meatpacking plant, which serves as a Sindaco base of operations there. Now, the Forellis try to have Johnny killed. The reason the Forellis want Johnny killed is because if they kill off Johnny, they will now have 50% control of the casino. So the Sindacos will be eliminated, they'll have 50% control. Ken Rosenberg doesn't want this to happen because if this happens, this is going to ignite a war between the families, and he is most likely going to be killed because of it. CJ ends up saving Johnny Sindaco, but later on, we also know that Ken Rosenberg asked CJ to come with him to the meat processing plant to meet Johnny. Johnny recognizes CJ, has a heart attack, and dies. All of the Sindaco mobsters then try to kill both CJ and Ken Rosenberg, and CJ kills every single one of them to remove all witnesses. So at this point, the Sindacos have been eliminated from Las Venturas. They're gone. They're all dead. So now it's 50-50 control between the Leones and the Forellis. And what I think happened at this point is the Forellis probably most likely realized that this was Salvatore who actually had killed off the Sindacos, but it was actually CJ. So Salvatore flies on down to Las Venturas to try to get control of the casino. He realizes that a war is about to start. Now, naturally, this is working in Salvatore's direction at first. Salvatore thinks that he's going to get full control of the casino. And Salvatore actually probably thinks that the Sindacos were wiped out by the Forellis. He has no idea of CJ's involvement in that. So CJ actually ends up coming into Ken Rosenberg's penthouse right when Salvatore is there. Now, Ken Rosenberg vouches for CJ in front of Salvatore, and Salvatore decides to take a chance on him and sends him off to kill the Forelli hitman flying in to kill Salvatore.
This asshole.
The name's Carl Johnson, sir. Before working with Mr. Rosenberg here, I had the pleasure of doing business with your son, Joey, back in Liberty City.
You know my Joey? I like that. So, kid, what can I do for you?
Well, Ken vouched for me. I'm a straight killer.
Oh, one-man fucking army. Real dependable. Total fucking maniac, too.
You know the Forellis are sending over a crew to hit me. Their flight gets in soon. Traveling as a string quartet. I was gonna send some of the boys over as a little welcoming committee. But, maybe you can take care of it.
Thank you, sir. I guarantee you, you won't regret this.
I guarantee you won't regret this.
You stay where you are, Rosenberg. I don't want you getting yourself lost.
Now, the reason that Salvatore decided to take a chance on CJ was because CJ is actually an outsider. He is not part of the Leone family. He's not part of the Sindacco family or the Forelli family. No other family knows who he is, so he's the perfect guy to send on this job because they won't see him coming. Now, I know some people in the comments will tell me that CJ worked for Salvatore's son Joey Leone in Liberty City stealing cars, but CJ would steal cars and then bring those cars back to Joey. There's no proof that the Sindaccos or the Forellis would know who CJ is. Salvatore himself didn't even know who CJ was. Only Joey did. So, like I said, CJ is the perfect person to send for this job because they're not going to recognize him. He isn't somebody that can be traced directly back to Salvatore if something goes bad. And so CJ takes out the Forelli hitmen, gets rid of them, and Salvatore is really impressed by this and tells CJ, you know what? Why don't you go on over to Liberty City now and you wipe out the Forelli family? And CJ agrees to this, but CJ tells Salvatore that he's going to need some help, and he tells Salvatore, I need Ken Rosenberg, Macker, and Kent Paul. And this is actually what I love about CJ, and this is actually why CJ is one of my favorite GTA characters, because CJ did not need to save Kent Paul, Macker, or Ken Rosenberg, but he did, because CJ doesn't backstab his friends, because he knows exactly what betrayal is, especially after what Big Smoke and Ryder pulled on him. So CJ's not that type of person to betray somebody, and that's what I really like about it. He didn't have to save them, but he did, and he actually ends up giving Kent Paul, Macker, and Ken Rosenberg a job for Mad Dog later, where they don't have to be stressed out and worried about constantly being killed. So Salvatore was going to have them killed. He was going to have all three of them killed the moment that he gets 100% control of the casino, because he doesn't need them anymore. So CJ ends up going to St. Mark's Bistro. Now, the St. Mark's Bistro, this is actually the same restaurant that is in the beginning of Vice City. This is a Forelli front. The Forellis have controlled this restaurant for decades. And the reason that CJ manages to walk into the restaurant and get so close to them is because, like I said, they didn't know who CJ was. If Leone tried to walk towards the restaurant, he wouldn't even be able to cross the street before they killed him. But CJ, because they didn't know who he was, he managed to actually walk right into the restaurant before the shootout started. This is why CJ was the perfect person to send for this job. So CJ gets into a war with the Forellis and ends up killing the boss of the Forelli family, Marco Forelli. Marco Forelli was also the brother of Sonny Forelli, who was killed in Vice City. So now, at this point, Salvatore has 100% control of the casino. The Sindaccos are gone, the Forellis are gone. Salvatore has his $5 million and control of the casino. This has worked out very well for Salvatore. And this was Salvatore's ultimate plan. He wanted full control of the casino, and he was going to manipulate everyone to get complete control. But here's the catch, and this is what I love about San Andreas. The ironic thing is that Salvatore is manipulating everyone so that he could get full control of the casino, but he doesn't realize that he has actually been manipulated and played himself, and this was by CJ. CJ used Salvatore to get close to Caligula's casino, to get a lot of information, and because of that, him and his friends were able to pull out this heist. They didn't have to worry about the Sindaccos and the Forellis, only the Leones. So the casino is actually weaker if you think about it. There's only one family guarding it instead of three. Now, CJ, Woozy, and his friends rob the casino and steal the money. And this is where Salvatore gets really screwed over. And now a lot of people are probably wondering, wouldn't Salvatore just have insurance money for the casino's money? No, he wouldn't. And the reason for that is because it's a mafia casino. A mafia casino is the perfect casino to rob. The reason that a mafia casino is the perfect casino to rob is because, think about it, a lot of the money that's in there is actually illegal money. The reason that mafias actually invest heavily in casinos is because it's a legitimate business that they can have, that they can make a lot of money from. And so they can hide their illegal money and use this as a front for tax reasons. So a lot of the money that's actually in the casino is actually illegal money. And that $5 million that Salvatore invested in the casino, I guarantee you that's not legitimate money. That's illegal money from Salvatore's illegal businesses, probably from smuggling drugs at the docks, which he actually does a lot. So that's where the majority of Salvatore's money probably came from. So that money is not going to be insured, meaning that if somebody breaks into the casino and steals that money, they don't have a way to report that to the police because that money's illegal in the first place. So when CJ robs this casino and just screws over Salvatore, Salvatore loses his $5 million and all of his time and money just spent wasting it in Las Venturas. Salvatore is completely screwed. And he actually gives CJ this phone call. Oh, now this phone call should be good.
What's up?
You two-bit backstabbing piece of eggplant shit.
Salvatore, nice to hear from you too.
You're dead. Your friends are dead. Your family's dead. I'm gonna fuck you up and your children and your grandchildren.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, but I got some money that needs spending on some expensive trash. So if you excuse me.
You're dead. Dead.
So as you guys can see, Salvatore got completely screwed. He was furious, and he was so angry that he even threatened to kill CJ's family. And, you know, I know this is a video game and all, but, you know, typically in, like, a lot of, you know, especially, like, a lot of Italian mafia customs, there's a rule that goes on, and the Sopranos TV show actually explains this well, where they're not supposed to go after people's families if they have a problem with somebody. But Salvatore has no problem with this. He will actually go after CJ's family, the people that had nothing to do with his whole heist, just to get to CJ. And this shows what type of person Salvatore is, what kind of, you know, really bad guy he is. But anyways, Salvatore was never able to get to CJ. CJ, you know, lived and is fine, and there's no evidence that Salvatore was able to actually get him. So Salvatore lost his money and wasn't able to get payback on CJ. And I actually think that this is one of the best moments in a GTA game ever when Salvatore got screwed over. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. What does this have to do with Claude? This whole, you know, casino explanation, this whole CJ's back, what does this have to do with Claude? It has a lot to do with Claude. This is actually one of the main reasons on why Salvatore betrays Claude. It's because Salvatore took a chance on an outsider, on somebody that he did not know when he took a chance on CJ. He trusted CJ. I guarantee you he did trust CJ. He trusted CJ to do a lot of these things. And CJ backstabs him and screwed him over, and Salvatore lost all of his money. And Salvatore's probably thinking to himself, if I lost all of this money by trusting an outsider, my life could be on the line next. And so what happens is, 9 years later, another outsider shows up, Claude. And Salvatore knows nothing about Claude. Now, Claude starts working his way up in the Leone family and doing pretty well. And Salvatore, I guarantee you, he was suspicious of Claude. He was suspicious of him. He still had that CJ incident paranoia in the back of his head. But I don't think that he was actually planning on killing Claude all along. I think he was watching Claude really closely. He was extremely paranoid, and he was constantly thinking, do I kill this guy? Do I trust this guy? And then what actually ends up happening is stupid Maria, because for some reason, Maria falls in love with Claude. She decides to tell Salvatore that she and Claude were having an affair. Now, I don't know why Maria said this. I made a video, top 5 stupidest things Maria has done. I'll link that at the end. Maria is just a dumb character overall, so she ends up telling Salvatore this. Now, this was the final spark in Salvatore's betrayal, because Salvatore, I believe, was constantly thinking in the back of his head, do I kill this guy? Do I not kill this guy? And when Maria finally said that she was having an affair with Claude, this is the final spark. That's it. This guy is trying to screw me over. He's trying to take my mafia empire over. I'm gonna kill this guy. That's what ends up sparking that in Salvatore. And now Salvatore's paranoia is showed very well in Liberty City Stories. In Liberty City Stories, we actually see several scenes in which Salvatore gets pretty paranoid. And one of these scenes, he actually pulls a pistol on Tony and tries to have Tony killed. Take a listen to this.
Well,
what?
don't play dumb with me, kid. I was playing dumb when your mother was still turning tricks.
What's your problem?
I know what you've been saying about me. You think I'm an idiot? Huh? Is that what you think?
Boss, I ain't been saying nothing about you.
What the fuck? I don't know what's happening to me. Jesus, I'm getting paranoid, Tony. Really fucking paranoid. Just because I think everyone hates me doesn't mean they don't. Know what I mean? Someone is out to get me. It's that fucking mayor. He's gonna blame me for all this shit that's been going down in the neighborhood. All of it. Not just the crap that I did, but all of it. Come on, let's go take care of this.
So you see how paranoid Salvatore is, and this shows the story for GTA 3 actually really well. So by Liberty City Stories, which is in 1998, Salvatore's paranoia has only grown. And it's only grown because the Sindacos and the Forellis are trying to screw him over. And then what ends up happening is, later on in the story, the Sicilian Mafia comes on over to try to broker peace between the Sindacos and the Leone family. But the Sicilian Mafia, they are actually just plotting to take over the Leone territory. So they're trying to kill off the Leones. They don't want to work with the Leones. They're manipulating all the gangs. And so what the Sicilians do, they manipulate the Diablos, the Triads, the Sindacos, the Forellis, and even the Yakuza to actually go to war with the Leones. So everyone was pretty much going to war with the Leones. The Leones did end up coming out on top, but Salvatore, his paranoia only grew from this. And I think one of the reasons that his paranoia grew heavily from this is because one of the people that was directly involved with the Sicilian Mafia was his uncle. Now, I don't think that his uncle was the boss of the Sicilian Mafia, but his uncle was from Sicily, and he arrives at the end of the game, and he says, is there going to be peace between you and the old country now? So I think that his uncle was just a new representative of the Sicilian Mafia. The Sicilian Mafia probably sent his uncle over because he was a close relative to try to broker peace better. But at the same time, you gotta think about it. Salvatore's own uncle, his own blood, tried to have him killed. And this is most likely based on Uncle Conrado Jr. in The Sopranos, who was actually Tony Soprano's uncle, who also tried to have him killed. So that's probably where this is actually inspired from. And actually, Conrado Jr. and Salvatore's uncle, they actually do have kind of similar appearances to each other. A lot of mafia things are actually heavily inspired in The Sopranos. If anybody ever has the time to watch The Sopranos, I heavily encourage you to watch it, especially if you like mafia stuff like this in video games. So that right there is the ultimate reason on why Salvatore had betrayed Claude. It was because Claude was an outsider, Salvatore's paranoia was growing, and he simply didn't trust Claude. When Maria said that they were having an affair, this was the final spark in which he betrayed Claude. The events from San Andreas and Liberty City stories had greatly contributed to that. Now, if Salvatore hadn't gone through what he did with CJ and what happened to him with all the families going after him in Liberty City stories, then perhaps he may not have betrayed Claude, because at the same time as Salvatore knows what type of person Maria is, Tony is very well aware of what type of person Maria is, and Salvatore could have realized that maybe Maria was exaggerating and just speaking nonsense, but because of his paranoia, he didn't see through this, and so he blindly tried to have Claude killed. And lastly, here up on the screen, I actually have a chart, and I showed this chart in a few of my videos. It's a good chart that I made. This represents, in general, Italian mafia ranks, and I have, the characters that are in Liberty City stories, the X's on the characters that were killed. But anyways, as you guys can see, and I explained this chart much better in my video, why does Salvatore have JD killed? I'll have that linked at the end if anyone wants to check that out. But take a look right below Salvatore on Underboss. There is no underboss, and consigliere, there is none either. That is the advisor to the Don. So Salvatore does not have an advisor, and he doesn't have an underboss. And that right there shows on just how paranoid he is. That's very strange that a boss would not have an underboss. It's because he doesn't want anyone that close to him being an underboss or a consigliere. And now, let's talk about Tony Cipriani here. Why does Salvatore not betray Tony Cipriani, despite him betraying Claude? The reason he doesn't betray Tony Cipriani is because him and Tony Cipriani go way back. He has known Tony Cipriani for several years. He's known him since the events of San Andreas, in the early 90s. So he has known Tony, and he's known his father. His father was a member of the Leone family, and he also knows Tony's mother. So Salvatore has a relationship with Tony, and even though he had that relationship with him, he still does not fully trust him at the beginning of the game, and you can see this really well in the first mission, especially when he looks at Tony after he leaves. He does not trust Tony despite Tony killing a made man for him. And I'll tell you this, when Salvatore actually has Tony, drive JD over to the meeting, I guarantee you that was also to intimidate Tony. It was so that Tony would see what happened to JD. And when Tony actually gets made, when he officially becomes a made man, he actually bumps into Mickey, who was the same hitman who actually ended up killing JD. So this is the mission where Tony gets made, he becomes an official member of the Mafia.
Come on, we're going for a ride. Come on, get in, you're driving.
Mickey, what's up?
Come on, Cipriani, what do you think, I'm here to whack you?
And in this mission, there's a lot of signs that you're possibly getting betrayed. I mean, look, Salvatore's personal hitman, Mickey, shows up, sits in the back seat behind you.
Hold on to me, what are you waiting for?
And on top of that, they have you go to this alley where they're watching both sides to tell you to go down here. Makes it seem like Tony's gonna get betrayed.
Tony, my boy, today's the day you're being made.
Oh, Salvatore, I'm Mr. Leone. Our mama's been waiting for this day.
Hey, Tony, thanks. I'll be in touch.
Now, when you're playing this mission the first time, it makes it seem like Salvatore is going to betray Tony. It makes it seem like he's going to kill Tony, but he doesn't kill Tony. And this whole scene with Mickey showing up and Mickey being in the same car as Tony, and then Tony going into this alley where he was really easily exposed and could be shot in the back, this was meant to intimidate Tony. He was made a member of the family, yes, but Salvatore had this ceremony set up in these circumstances to intimidate him, to basically keep him in line. And this is exactly what he does at the end of the game. Now, Tony basically does all these crazy things. He eliminates the Sindaco family. He eliminates the Forelli family. He takes out the Yakuza. He fights off the Diablos. He fights off the Triads. He does so much crazy crap for Salvatore. And Salvatore promised him $1 million. But what does Salvatore give him? Take a listen to this.
Yeah, but we did it.
Yeah, we cleaned up. You did good, Tony. You did real good. I always knew you was a good kid. You saved my ass a few times, and I appreciate that kind of loyalty.
Thank you.
A good worker? I like that. Respectful. So I got you that $500,000 I promised you.
Half? Ooh, I thought you, said a couple.
I said $1 million. For what? You can put a price on friendship? The kind of friendship you and me have? Shame on you. Come here. You're a good kid, but shame on you.
Salvatore does not give him the $1 million that he promises him. Instead, Salvatore tells him, I got you that $500,000. He got him $500,000 and then says, who can put a price on friendship like that? The type of friendship that you and me have. You know what Salvatore is doing in this point? He's basically saying to Tony in a nice way, I'm the boss and I can do whatever the hell I want. And because I want to give you $500,000 instead of $1 million, I'm going to do that. I'm the boss, and make sure you remember that. And it's good to have me as your friend than your enemy. Capiche? That's basically what Salvatore is saying in a nice way when he says that to Tony. Tony believes in the hierarchy structure a lot. He believes that Salvatore is the boss, and so he does not really question him. And Tony has remained loyal to Salvatore even 3 years later. So that's basically the type of person that Salvatore is. And I think Salvatore made a mistake. I think Tony deserved that $1 million. Even though Tony still stayed loyal to him, Tony deserved that $1 million. He didn't deserve to be screwed over like that. If you played through the story of Liberty City Stories, all the crazy things he does, Tony saved Salvatore so many times. But Salvatore just screws him over like that. It is completely unfair to Tony. But now going back to Claude, when Claude is betrayed. So when Claude is finally betrayed by Salvatore, and he tells Claude, go and pick up this car, and the car has a bomb in it. I just find this execution kind of strange, personally. I know they did it in GTA to kind of be dramatic and stuff, but it's, kind of strange. Typically, when the Mafia kills somebody, it's 2 shots to the back of the head. That's the most common execution method. But in GTA 3, he tells Claude to go and pick up this car in an alley and blow it up. If you think about it, look at the car. It's an expensive sports car, supercar, and at the same time they put a bomb into it, which is much more complicated than simply just shooting somebody in the back of the head 2 times. The Mafia did used to use car bombs, but they did that in like the 20s and the 30s. They did that decades ago. They don't really do it anymore today. And the reason they don't do it anymore today is because it's much more complicated, it's more expensive, but at the same time it draws a lot of attention. And if any of you guys have actually played Mafia Definitive Edition or even the original Mafia game, it actually shows this pretty well. It actually shows exactly why the Mafia doesn't use car bombs anymore. And this shows that. When a car bomb goes off, it's really loud. Everyone sees that. It's clear visibility. And not only that, but a car bomb has the potential to kill the wrong person. If the wrong person gets into the car, or also on top of that, shrapnel, pieces of bomb fragments and other metals, they can go flying in and they can hit somebody and kill them. So plenty of other innocent people can be killed. And it's not that the Mafia cares about innocent casualties, they don't. But if they kill more people than the target, that's going to put more heat on them. The police are going to look at them more closely, and on top of that, the federal authorities are going to come after them, investigating if it's a possible terror attack. So the Mafia is just going to have much more heat on them. So that's really why they don't use car bombs. You'd think it'd be a much more simple execution, 2 shots to the back of the head. I mean, you think about it, what is the media more likely to report on? Is the media more likely to report on somebody being shot 2 times in the back of the head in an alley, or are they more likely to report on a car bomb going off and killing somebody? It's more likely on the car bomb. So that's just explain a little bit of lore personally on why the Mafia doesn't really use car bombs anymore. But now to wrap it up with Claude here at the end. So Claude does get his payback on Salvatore. Asuka tells him he'll be leaving the Red Lights Club. Claude travels on over there. He takes out Salvatore as he's leaving. And the ironic thing about this rooftop, because you don't have to kill him from this rooftop, but a lot of people do kill him from this rooftop, in GTA Liberty City Stories, there's actually a mission in which Salvatore is actually taking over that same club that he's actually walking out of in GTA 3. And in that mission, Tony is actually armed with a sniper rifle on the rooftop, actually protecting Salvatore from Sindacos and from police officers, saving his life. However, in GTA 3, the ironic thing is 3 years later, that same rooftop is used to take Salvatore's life. And there's more ironic things about Salvatore's death. Isn't it ironic that what ends up killing Salvatore in the end, it's not that he trusts people, it's that he doesn't trust people. It's his paranoia. His own paranoia, his lack of trust of others is actually what gets him killed in the end. And I've heard a lot of people say that trusting everyone is dangerous. And that is true. Trusting everyone is dangerous. But what a lot of people don't talk about is that trusting no one can be just as dangerous as trusting everyone. If you don't trust no one, who are your real friends? And I think that Salvatore made a giant mistake with betraying Claude. This was his biggest mistake ever, which ultimately cost him his life. And I personally think if Salvatore had never betrayed Claude, I think that Claude would have stayed loyal to the Leone families. I think that he would have. Because even though Claude betrays people like Kenji later in GTA 3, the reason that he betrays Kenji is because he's working for Donald Love, which is somebody who's going to pay him more money. But Claude wouldn't really have a reason to betray the Leones because the Leones are arguably the most powerful mafia and most powerful gang in the entire city. You know, they're really powerful. They even have the mayor under their control. So Claude would basically be set for life being a made man with them. He wouldn't really have a reason to betray them. He would have everything that he ever wanted. And Claude would never be able to become a capo regime, which is a captain in the Leone family, simply because he doesn't talk to others. But Claude would definitely be able to be a soldier, a gun for hire. And Claude is a one-man army. He is a one-man army. You can send him on any crazy job and he'll come back. He'll take out the target or do any other crazy thing. And that's exactly what Salvatore missed out on. He could have used Claude. Claude could have been his one-man army. And Claude, I think, would have personally stayed loyal to him. And I don't think, even Donald Love, even though he paid off Claude to betray the Yakuza, like I said, Donald Love doesn't have anything against the Leone families. They're actually on good relations. So I don't think that Claude would have personally ever betrayed the Leones. I think he would have stayed loyal. And that actually could have kind of changed Claude's personality. Because after he got betrayed 2 times, he could have said, that's it, I'm not being loyal to anyone anymore at this point. So ironically, Salvatore's own paranoia, his lack of trust in others, is what ultimately got him killed. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for the kind of length on this video, but I really wanted to break it down because Salvatore is actually one of my favorite GTA characters of all time. And I really wanted to break down his character, and I wanted to break down what ultimately killed him, because there is a lot more in this explanation than just simply Maria telling him that they were having an affair. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, because it does help me make more content like this in the future. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.